Right, well, hello, good evening. You are joining me with some breaking news. It's, well, not breaking, it's kind of, it is breaking. It's breaking news, isn't it? Leeds United looks set to be appointing Daniel Farke and Stuart Webber from Norwich City. What's going on? Well, number one, Brendan Rodgers, who was hotly tipped to take the role or to be interviewed, is also in talks with Celtic, and he's been seen up there in Celtic, and he's having negotiations as we speak today. So it looks like, I think, Rodgers is probably going to be out of the frame for us. Celtic have got other options in mind, but I quite fancy Celtic to take back Brendan Rodgers. Given his connections to the club, I don't see that he's going to want to entertain Leeds in the Championship. It's probably too big a job for him, to be honest with you, and he's more likely to win stuff with Celtic. Celtic, of course, have qualified for Champions League football this season, so Rodgers no doubt sees himself on the European stage, try to wrestle the Champions League off Manchester City. Good luck with that, Brendan. So, what do we know about Daniel Farke? Well, Daniel Farke is, or he was, the Norwich City manager. He had two mid-table finishes with Norwich in his 6 years. He had two promotions with championships from the EFL, took them up to the Premier League, and he also had two relegations. So a guy with some good experience, but is he good enough to take it on, take Leeds up to the Premier League and get us to maintain our position in the Premier League? Well, we're going to have a look at that and more. If you want to come and join and you have any thoughts, hello, disabled team. It's looking pretty hotly tipped at the moment that Daniel Farke and Webber are on the way to Elland Road, and it sounds like we're going to get these two installed, I think, by the end of the week, if the rumours that are circulating are true. As you know, I don't generally entertain rumours unless there's something a bit more solid behind it. And I think with the news breaking that Webber is leaving at Norwich City, it looks to me as if we've pretty much got our man, and the 49ers are going to be appointing these two very soon. Well, Farke's record isn't that great, to be honest with you, but when he was with Norwich City, he had a win rate of approximately 41.8%. But you have to take into account that when Norwich City got promoted to the Premier League, they got absolutely battered, thus bringing his win rate down. He managed 208 games for them, won 87 of those games, drew 49 and lost 72. So, if you take the Premier League out of it, his win rate probably goes up quite substantially. When he was manager of Borussia Dortmund between 2015 and May 2017, he had a win rate there of 51.8%. So he knows what he's doing. He looks like a bit of a tough nut, doesn't he? A bit of a no nonsense type of guy. He's not going to put up with any nonsense. Born in 1976, 30th of October, he was a former club player, and his position was a forward. He was a central forward. And then, most recently, he was the head coach of Bundesliga club Borussia Mönchengladbach. Just reading some of his bio here. He spent most of his playing career with Lippstadt, and then he began his managerial career after a spell at Borussia Dortmund. He led Norwich City for 4 years. Of course, they said 6 years earlier. Twice winning the EFL, and then he was appointed the head coach of Russian Premier League club Krasnodar. He resigned 2 months later due to the Ukraine war. Managerial career at Norwich is not too bad, to be honest with you, but like I say, when he took Norwich City up to the Premier League, they got battered, didn't they? They got absolutely battered week in, week out. Bit like what happened to us during those last 2 seasons. We weren't great, were we? It would sooner have Rodgers than Farke, but it looks as though he's on his way. Yeah, Rodgers is on his way to Celtic, mate. I think by the sound of it. I you know, this week I joined a live in Leeds Bird Rants, and I said, if we see ourselves as a big club, why are we entertaining these types of managers, these sort of 40-50% win rate managers? Can't we get anybody who's going to be 60-70%? And I said my money would be, if we are to be serious about getting into Premier League, man at the moment is Conte. I would say Conte. If we had the money, and I think we've got the money and the funds to take him on, but he sees whether Conte fancies himself in the Championship. I don't think he'd take it just for that reason, that, I don't want to be going to Preston North End, Bristol City, or any of these sort of places. But you never know. You can always, if you don't ask, you'll never know, will you? So I think, is this a good appointment? I thought that in the back of my mind, this guy, out of all the other candidates, I think this guy probably suits Leeds more than the others. He seems to play a bit of a high press type football that we're kind of used to at Leeds. It's usually a very attacking minded setup that he has. And I mean, the thing with Norwich is, all right, he didn't do too well, but I think you've got to look at the personnel. Is the personnel that we have better than the personnel that Norwich had? And I think the answer is probably yes, because, whilst they went up and down, they couldn't maintain themselves in the Premier League for very long, could they, Norwich? We managed 3 seasons, and had it been for the ineptitude of Radrazani at Orta, and I'm going to come on to that in a moment or two. I'm going to make a bit of a point that I think, Radrazani's had it in his mind about getting shit of Leeds, offloading us now for quite some time, and it would appear, because something was said in the Norwich or the press releases that I've seen, that Webber had handed his notice in much earlier in the season. So it seems to me that this guy's known that, he's probably going to get the Leeds job, or he's probably been offered it. And I'm wondering if Radrazan has had his, he's had his mind on getting rid of Leeds for a long time, a lot longer than I think than we think has happened. Now, I think he should have disposed of Leeds earlier, and that's what happens with companies, right? When someone wants to offload it, they dispose of it, whatever you want to say. He's had it in the back of his mind. Now, this Sampdoria opportunity, I think, has spurred him. If it hadn't have been for Sampdoria, we could still be sat here talking about Radrazani is a bad chairman and blah blah blah. But I think this Sampdoria opportunity has come along, and it's dropped at his feet, and he's decided that he wants to move there, and good luck to him if that's what he wants to do. I don't know. Conte wants Champions League. Well, he could have Champions League with Leeds. He just has to work for it, doesn't he? In 2 years. 3, 4 years. It's going to be, anybody wanting to compete in that league now. It's just crazy, isn't it? Stu, if you want to come and join us, it's up to you. But we've got the link up there in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, but I think, is this a good appointment? Well, yes and no. I think Farke, he certainly has what it takes, doesn't he, to get a club out of the Championship. Can he cut it when he gets to the Premier League? Probably not. but that was with Norwich players. If he's got some signings in mind that are going to strengthen the overall squad, then I think he'll do a great job for us. Hello, man, Josh. Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to you. Yeah, I understand it's quite hot there in the UK. 20, 28, 29 in Leeds today, by the sound of it. So yeah, here comes the summer. Hey, almost as hot as where I am. That is hot. So yeah, I mean, man, Josh, I think you've been to Singapore on a number of occasions. So you should be better placed to handle it than most people. Everybody else just melts like an ice cream, but in Singapore, people just walk about. It's a daily occurrence to have that kind of heat. And outside here now, it's late at night. It's 11 o'clock, about 27 degrees at the minute, clear skies. So light little breeze blowing in. But I honestly think 29 and terrible. Yeah, I bet you're all melting. You need air. This is the thing, innit? British buildings aren't designed to cope with that kind of heat, are they? They're just they're all right for the cold, but when the heat comes along, man, Jesus Christ, it just amplifies it, doesn't it? The only thing I can suggest to you is if you're lucky and you've got a bathtub, go sit in a cold bath. If you want to try and escape the heat, close the curtains, have a window open, try and create a bit of a breeze, and try and keep yourself cool, well hydrated, plenty of water, mate. So as usual, there's nothing coming from the club. We don't seem to hear anything about the club, but Phil Hay is pretty certain, by the sound of it, that I'm going to quote what he said, just to try and back up the claims. But it says, well, I don't know if this is from Phil Hay or who, but it says ex-Fulham boss Scott Parker falls into the latter bucket, as does former Swansea manager Brendan Rodgers. Farke, successful in leading Norwich City into the Premier League's champions 2019-2021. Either side of relegation has also been sounded out, and Leeds will try and finalise an appointment this week. So that's the strong suspicion now that it's. I mean, I personally think it's over the line. Is this? It's just a case of getting it through the lawyers, his agents, and everybody else who has a hand in these sort of contracts. Once that's done, an announcement can be made from the club, but certainly a number of other YouTubers seem to be jumping on the bandwagon. So I thought I might as well jump on the bandwagon as well and just knock out a quick live, talk about the appointment a little bit, and it looks like he's done. He's on his way to Leeds, and that's it. So, well, not just one of them, is it? It's both of them. What do we know about Daniel Webber? Is it Daniel Webber? Sorry, beg your pardon. My God, I'm so tired. Stuart Webber, beg your pardon. Daniel Webber. I'm just going to mix some names up. Bugger it. Stuart Webber, a bit younger than me, this guy, is currently, he does hold a number of roles, this fella. So it's not just one role, but it's like anything else, isn't it? If you're going to employ somebody, you want them to be 100% committed to the role and not have any other business. Or if you have other business, put somebody else in charge and let them run that other business. We want this guy to be solely 100% focused on Leeds United business, players in and out, who's he going to get, what's the dead wood he's going to chop, and that's it. But it says, according to this, I did see a bit about him being something to do with Wales. He is actually a Welshman, I think, by the sound of it. Yeah, he's Welsh, so he's from Wales originally. But the rumour has it that he's actually a boyhood Leeds fan, so I don't know whether that's true or not. and he's got quite a good CV when you look at it. 2002, 2009, he was at Wrexham, head of youth. 2009, 2012, Liverpool Football Club, director of recruitment. 2012, 2013, Queen's Park Rangers, head of scouting. 13 to 15, Wolverhampton Wanderers, head of scouting. 15 to 17, Huddersfield Town, director of football. Norwich City, sporting director. So he is still actually classified as being at Norwich. His career started at Northrop College in Flintshire as part of the work experience placement. He got a job as part of the ground staff at Wrexham. Oh my God, what a way to start. I love reading success stories and stuff like that. So ground staff is probably stuff like attending to the pitch, maybe it could be a steward, something like that. Doesn't go into too much details. July 2009 he left and became director of recruitment at Liverpool after working alongside Rafa Benitez and Kenny Dalglish. August 2012 left Liverpool, take up a position at QPR, head of scouting, before heading to Wolves. He became then the head of football operations at Huddersfield Town in June 2015, becoming instrumental in the recruitment of players that got Huddersfield promoted to the Premier League. Of course, they were in the Premier League for a short time, weren't they, Huddersfield? The dog botherers, they call them. Terriers, taken from their nickname. I'm going to do comments in a moment. I'll just do this very quickly, this little segment. Quite a few references there about his a couple of controversies. He got criticised for the relegation from by Norwich and Norwich fans, and he received further criticism for his comments on women's football, saying the quality was really poor. Well, I mean, it wasn't there a bit of an experiment, and it was a load of ex-USA players versus a load of women from Team USA, and they got absolutely hammered about 24-2 over about 3 games or something like that. Just give me a minute. I'm going to put the light on. Put the light on. The light is on at Elland Road, isn't it? Eh? God, blimey. Never a dull moment at Leeds United, I'll tell you. I can't wait to get back there. I'll be back very soon. In fact, I'll be back. I'll be back on 17th of June, and 22nd, look out for a live stream. I'm going to be doing a bit of a live stream from Elland Road. Why? Well, it's the day the fixtures get released, isn't it? So what better place to go than to Elland Road, catch up with see a few fans and talk nonsense and do a live stream, get the channel moving and all that. Yes, thank you. I'll just run through a few comments. I would sooner have Rodgers and Farke, but it looks, I think Rodgers is done, isn't he? He's not gonna take on that role. Rodgers literally he goes to Celtic, he walks through the door, signs on the dotted line. You're Champions League football. That's where he sees himself in it. Conte wants Champions League. Yeah, replied to my crazy comment about what if we see ourselves as a big club, surely we should be chasing higher quality managers or higher level managers. I mean, could you imagine Conte in Championship? I mean, that'd be mental, wouldn't it? If we could bring him to someone like him to Elland Road, we'd be just like, we could just walk into any away ground and just say, look, you can give us the 3 points now, or you can, we're going to give you a bit of an hiding. Wait, embarrass you. Hello, man, Josh. Of course, yes, yes. Very hot. We're all dying because of the heat. 29. Oh my god. We've got TDT coming in. I can't believe that Farke is now managing our club. Well, it's not a done deal yet, man, Josh. It's probably personal terms. I'm glad that Gerard isn't going to do it. That Gerard is out of the frame. Stu, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Gary, yeah, but my background's awful. Hang on a minute.
All right, buddy. No problem.
There we go.
There we
How's
go.
that?
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I had to re-update OBS to bloody get that virtual camera thing working again. How we
I
doing,
love that.
Gary? Are you all right?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I like that little calendar that you've got there in your little. I think that's perfect. That.
It's all right,
I
isn't
might
it?
nick. I might nick that idea. Is that
It's
on
yeah.
OBS?
Well, not. I do it in Photoshop and then just save it every day. Just change the
Every
day at
do
the time.
you? All right. It's not an automatic API or out like that, then.
No, no,
No.
no. But OBS
Yeah.
is good for stuff like that because you can bring in virtual, real life clocks as well. So I'm going to
Yeah.
start doing all that sort of thing.
I mean, I'm thinking about, but you see, you use StreamYard as well, don't you? So, like, I
StreamYard
mean,
and OBS.
if I had OBS, you see, I wouldn't bother with StreamYard. But with anyway, look, we could talk all about that nonsense later on, can't we?
The only thing about StreamYard is, you put the comments up like you are doing now.
Mm,
You can't do that on OBS. You can't do it.
yeah, yeah, you can't. There's stuff you can't do on
Mm,
OBS. That's
yeah,
really important, I think, for live streaming. Mentioning
yeah, that's
people
right. That's why I use both. And
and
it's,
replying
you
to
know,
comments and stuff like that. I think it's fantastic. But I mean, YouTube have their own, but I haven't dared use that. I might have to do a bit of an experimentation, a bit of experimenting with it, and see how we go. What do you think about this man? Josh thought that Gerard would come.
so did Ali. Ali wanted him. Ali were desperate to get Steven Gerrard. I'm not. I wasn't personally, but Lee's been trying to convince me, saying that Gerrard's never managed a championship, so you can't really call him because there's nothing to call him to. There's no records of him managing in championship. He did poorly in Premiership, but never managed in championship,
Yeah.
and he did
Uh,
well in Scottish Premier League, didn't he?
um. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is like Scottish Premier League, and no disrespect to them and all the rest of it, but it's a two-horse race, isn't it? It's
Yeah, yeah,
been that
yeah, yeah.
pretty much. It's a two-horse race between the two biggest clubs. They're miles ahead of anybody else, and you just think that bringing Gerard down in. I mean, that would be a tremendous gamble, I think. And I don't think, looking at what he did with Villa afterwards. But you see, it's like Rodgers again, isn't it?
Got relegated with Leicester.
It got relegated at Leicester, and if you look at Rodgers' win rate, and I mean, the thing is that win rate, it's such a vital statistic. At Celtic, you were on about 68, I think 71%, and I think I could put in
71%.
tab. At Leicester, it was 45%.
Massive
Nearly
difference.
take nearly takes them down. It's a huge difference. Um, and I mean, how they work these win rates out, I don't, Lord only knows. But I mean, I think, is it points per game? Is it per game? What is it? How do they actually? What's the formula that gives them the win rate? And I think if we look at Farke, as I just said there, you
Yeah.
know, his win rate doesn't look that good on paper, but you have to account for the fact that he was in the Premier League week in, week out, getting absolutely tanked. With
How many
a
games did he win in Premier League? Were it two?
with a,
Did he win two or something?
with a really really poor record. Well,
Yeah,
the record is
you've got to take 38 games off that win rate. You know what I mean?
yeah yeah.
You can't include them 38 games.
If you take the Premier League games out of it, his win rate probably rockets. And according to this, in total, he managed 208 games for him. Won 87, drew 49, lost 72. So, I mean, there's a record there of that Russian team, but there were no actual games played. It must have been. I bet that will probably close season, because weather gets pretty bad up in Russia, doesn't it? In
Yeah.
parts, so I bet they've got a closed season up there. Says 0 games, 0 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. So, yeah, I mean, they broke some records for like worst finishers when they were in Premier League at the time, didn't they? They weren't, everybody thought, oh yeah, great, we're gonna. And did they have? They had a couple of ex-Leeds players in that team, didn't they? Can you remember?
Howson were in, wasn't it?
Alson. It
Him
wasn't just.
who played Charlie Taylor, were he in? Or were he always at Burnley? Well, they had Johnny Howson, didn't they? I know
they had Johnny Howson. Well, that'd be interesting to see. But I've just had a look at there's another YouTube channel called Talk Norwich, and it's an unofficial fan channel, and they're pretty. They sound like they're just reading through the comments. That it sounds like he's coming to Leeds. Good riddance. Just a shame Smith isn't jogging on. Interesting times ahead. Well, this man's tenure, we've had 2 promotions as Championship, 4 seasons, and in my opinion, 2 of the best teams in all my 59 years as a supporter. Nothing but thanks for the guy. Only one mistake, relieving us of our most successful manager. I wish him well. So has he sacked Farke in the past then?
Well, I've got a list of players who played for both Leeds and Forest, Leeds and Norwich.
Yeah.
Rob Green, Lee Bromby,
Yeah.
Darren Kenton, Andy Hughes,
Bradley Who was that? Andy
Hughes,
yeah, and then
Bradley Johnson,
yeah,
Johnny Howson, and
that was it. Bradley Johnson, were it?
Bradley Johnson, yeah.
Oh, was a decent Andy player.
Darren
Huckabee.
Yeah.
Darren
Huckabee from Leeds to
Norwich. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Steve Morrison.
Yeah.
And David Ely.
I remember Darren Huckabee because he were in. I think he were in that team that got relegated for Leeds from Premier League. He were there. That's interesting. That I like Darren Huckabee. I thought.
I didn't know.
I thought he was a flair player that
See, always. I had a spot for David Ely.
Dave Ely.
Yeah,
this is racking the brain.
He was Northern Ireland's all-time record scorer.
Yeah. You see, this is why I get Stu on, folks, because Stu knows a lot of football stuff. Probably know more than me. I know a lot of stuff, Stu, but I just forget it. I've got a memory like a sieve at 11 o'clock at night.
See, on this channel, I know I've got to use my brain. On my own, I can get away with it. Do you know what I mean? On this channel, I have to use my brain a little bit, which I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, I like it. Well, I like it. I like it. I mean, I have a mate, and he's got he's got 1 or 2 mental health issues. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to football and knowledge and stuff like that, I mean, some of the stuff he can just pull off his brain, just like, and I'm like, how the hell do you remember all that? And he's just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd get him on, because he's really low on confidence and all that sort of thing. So I'm just like, well, he's a bit of a Liverpool fan, loves Liverpool. So, yeah, good. I'm good. Thank you for asking, man. Josh is always coming in and commenting. What do you think then, Stewie? Are you happy with this potential appointment, or is it going to be a bit of a disaster for us?
Well, look, I mean, if you wanted a manager with championship experience, getting promotion, it ticks both boxes, doesn't it?
Oh,
With any other manager like your Gerrard, like your Rodgers, it's an unknown quantity in championship. And
uh,
what would you rather, someone with the experience or someone who's got who's young and hungry for different coaching ideas? I'd sooner go for Farke than an unknown.
I completely agree. To be honest with you, I mean, if you look around in the market as well, who else has a CV that kind of reads like his? There's not many people, is there? So you're probably thinking, Gerard. I mean, some people are talking, but I've seen a lot of negativity about Gerard, but I've seen some positive comments, and I'm like, I don't know why you'd risk taking a gamble with someone who's unproven.
I agree.
Winning Scottish football. As a Rangers manager, you've got to be thinking, right, the team you have to compete with is Celtic. You don't have to worry too much about everybody else. But get you what is it? Do they play each other 3 times up there, or is it twice?
3 times up there, yeah, 3 times.
3 times, isn't it? Get you 9 points out of Celtic. You pretty much won league, haven't you? So, I mean, my mate's a Rangers fan, loves Rangers, and when I saw all this hype, but you see, this is the thing about. I saw it in your video this week. You're talking about it, things must be really hard for journalists, and if they don't know stuff, they'll just make it up. They'll just use whatever hype there is out there or whatever rumor is circulating, and just just write about that, fill a few lines in the column, and go off and have a cup of tea. But I think to be honest with you, there's nobody else really that suits the job like this guy does. And I think if he's got a guy in there that's the director and they know each other and all this stuff, and it's a good relationship. I mean, I wonder if I just wonder. The details are a bit sketchy about what happened because he's not the current manager. Is he the current manager? He isn't, is he?
No.
He isn't. So what happened there then? Because like you, I don't follow. I haven't followed Norwich. I don't know. It'd be interesting, Norwich fans, if anybody pops in and sees this, let us know. Go on.
There's a Norwich fan in chat.
Is there?
Yeah, Cameron.
All right. Is someone you know?
No.
No. Okay. I think he has enough to get us promoted to the Championship, but not enough to keep us in the Premier League. He did it with Norwich, got them promoted, then relegated. Well, I think that's the target, isn't it? I mean, is he going to be... He certainly has probably the resources that perhaps Norwich don't have. Fixtures been released today or on the 17th. I'm led to believe the fixtures are coming out on the 22nd. What I said was I'll be back in the UK on the 17th. So I get home, get over the jet lag and all that jazz. In fact, jet lag doesn't really bother me these days. I've done it so many times, so it doesn't really bother me. On the 17th, I won't be able to join. No, so there won't be a live stream on 17th. I'll be resting. Manager of Celtic has moved to Spurs, won the cup, then decided to leave. Fair play to him. Probably wants to go somewhere to win trophies and cups. Yeah, Postecoglou, innit? Good thing. My grandfather knows a lot about football. He's the reason I support Leeds. Right, here we go. I've got to you, Cameron. Just give me a second. Norwich City fan here. If you do get Farke, I think he'll be a good appointment. Unfortunately, any manager wouldn't have been able to keep the Norwich team in the Premier League. Yeah, Norwich will get it. It must. I mean, we found out this season as Leeds fans what it's like to get battered week in, week out, and it must have been bloody hard watching that. I mean, I've never seen a season so that last 6 months was absolute hell, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Stu.
Yeah. Both seasons as well. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, we won since Bielsa left. What was it? The stat was how many games? Is it 12 or 11? Won 11 games or something since Bielsa left. Does that sound about right? Yeah, I mean, I just, I can't. Honestly, it must have been for Norwich fans. It must have been a hard watch. But I mean, for us, watching that week in, week out, we weren't doing too badly until that after that Crystal Palace game. The wheels just completely fell off. There's no other way of putting it. You've seen missed opportunities. I mean, it must have just been like for other people watching non-league, neutral fans must have just been sat there like, what, is this a football game or a comedy show? But I mean, everybody's getting upset at the time. At the heat of the moment, you're getting upset at and all the rest of it. And a lot of Leeds fans, they're still upset. They're absolutely gutted, bitter.
Yeah, I know.
About what's gone on. And really, really, but I think I was watching this week, Stu, an interview with Howard Wilkinson. And it was from LS11 podcast. And I've watched a couple of Howard Wilkinson's videos this week. And he said, when all said and done, it is just a game. It is a game. And it isn't life and it isn't death. And, you wake up in the morning, you think, you know what? Last week was a bad result, or yesterday was a bad result, and this week we've got to try harder, do better, and start doing the right things. And that's just how it was. As with Stuart Webber, he had terrific. Oh God, Cameron, do you want to come and tell us about this? As with Stuart Webber, he's had terrific moments, but negative moments overrule the positive moments. I hope he does well. Oh God! Oh, you're not filling us with any. You're making us worried, Stu. Are you worried by these comments?
As with Stuart Webber, he has had terrible, terrific moments, but the negative moments overrule the people. Oh, thanks, Cameron. Thank you very much.
He's not filling me with any. I mean, it can't possibly be any worse than Orta, can he? Can he?
What did he do wrong, Cameron? Please, that would be brilliant if we could.
Cameron, we want to know more. What did he do? What were the things that riled Norwich fans and made people, not convinced about this guy's tenure at Carrow Road? What happened? Oh my God! Oh yes, we've got some comments. I love it when people come in. Leeds United beating Liverpool. Yeah, don't know if he can fix that. And Josh, we're going to have a squad overhaul. And at the minute, I mean, I think Jack Harrison's turned up on Twitter. He's in Tokyo, I think.
Is it?
I might be wrong, but okay. Thanks for the information. Yeah, okay, no problem. Right, okay. I wouldn't really judge how he did for other clubs, as he might do a fantastic job for you. I think the problem is that Norwich didn't have the funding, so couldn't do much, unfortunately. Well, I mean, Delia's.
Where
I
are
mean,
you?
Delia's got some deep pockets compared to most of us, hasn't she? But when you're talking about competing in the Premier League, I mean, I look at the Premier League and I think, you know what? I was thinking about this earlier on. I don't know if you were in, Cameron, but there are Leeds fans out there, and they're still of the mindset that we're a big club. And my opinion is we're not a big club. You know, we keep hearing this phrase that we're a big club and blah blah blah. And I said, if we were a big club, we'd go out and get a big manager. You know, Conte, or try and get somebody who is going to be or has an outstanding win record, right? 40-50% doesn't really. I mean, I think Farke has got enough. He's got it in him to get us promoted. But it's what he does with the players. And at the minute, you know, we've got a problem with Rodrigo. But the sound is that I'm reading at the moment is that Rodrigo might be staying.
Well, he said over in when he was doing now that he's in his international duties, he says that the contract has to be honoured. Do you know what I mean? Contract has to be honoured. So,
yeah, it has to be respected, doesn't it?
So, yeah, respected.
But if there's a 3 million release, there's a lot of waffle going around online at the minute, and I don't know if it's true or not. There's talk about players having a 3 million release clause, so it means that the club. I mean, what does that actually mean? Does that mean that the club who's interested has to pay 3 million to Leeds?
Yeah,
and that's it. The player becomes their property. Or does it mean that, you know, the opening bid is 3 million and we have to try and get a bit of a bidding war going on for Rodrigo if we're going to offload him?
As far as I know, if you match the release clause, you've got to let them go if the player wants to go.
Yeah. I don't want to see Rodrigo leave. I'll be honest with you. But I think deep down, you know, I think I always think about age, fitness, you know, all that sort of thing. It's 46 games. It isn't going to be easy. Is he going to be able to compete week in, week out for us? And I suspect probably not. You know, and I just wonder, like Guardiola has a strict sort of, I think is a strict blending in or a recruitment policy that only so many players can be over 30, and even then they've got to be top notch players because there's no room for slackness, if you like. I think that's the best way of putting it. But then we've got Bamford. Not much coming out about Bamford. Have you heard anything? No.
No, but I have heard some from the Manchester City camp regarding Calvin Phillips.
I've heard
City are open to offers.
Yeah, I've heard something like that. I mean, if they're loaning back to us, and they keep winning trophies, is it 15 million a trophy that they get for him? Something daft like that.
Yeah.
Every time Every time Manchester City wins something, Leeds get paid.
It's mad, isn't it?
Unbelievable bit of business that. He's certainly making me nervous. Everybody's nervous. I mean, we're in a state. Cameron's commented again. We're in a state. I'll bring that up in a moment, Cameron. It's next on my list. We're in a situation where we've had such a poor finish to the season. We've got a club that's in complete disarray. We've had a takeover going on. Sporting director gets fired shortly before end of season. Then we get Sam Allardyce in to run the show for 4 games. You know, we're all sat there thinking, who's making the decisions down at Elland Road? Is it the tea lady or what? You know, who's gonna who's who's gonna be sorting out the player contracts? Is it the office boy? Because there's nobody there. I said to him, you know, you pay me 50 grand, I'll go in there. 50 grand a year, I'll sort it out. And if I do well, you know, sort some bonuses out then. I think depending on how the recruitment team is, he can bring in some potential players. For example, he had Pukki. Yeah, I heard his name mentioned. Is it Pukki? Is that right? Is that how I pronounce it? And he helped us go to the Premier League. Buendia, Sarah started showing their colours. Are Norwich fans worried then that this guy leaving, is he going to take 2 or 3 of the best Norwich players out of the side? Because I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched any Norwich games. Look at that, Stu. He's like a green screen.
Doesn't it?
He's a green screen god, isn't he?
Is that all right for you?
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, well,
it's very kind of you, though. I mean, I just drew that logo up with 5 minutes. I was just like, I can't. You know, I'm terrible at stuff like that. You know, I'm like, oh god, what am I going to do when I start this channel off? It looks good, doesn't it? Looks good. Yeah, but I'm terrible at stuff like that. That was literally a 5-minute job. And like I've no idea about vector graphics. I've got this program called Affinity Pro, and I literally just I'm learning it as I go along. So that's where the thumbnails come from, and you know, all the rest of it. But God, that's good, is that, Stuart? I'll have to get a green screen, but I don't think the wife will let me.
You can get one more hands on the back of your chair. They're just as good.
Are they?
Yeah. Lee uses one.
Yeah, I'll have to see that. I think I've seen something like that actually.
They fold up, they fold up and put away in their bag.
Yeah,
so they're out of mind.
They're a couple £100 where we are though. But I mean, like when I go home, you know, you can pick them up for next to no, can't you, on Amazon?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, I think we got Leah right big, and it was something like 40 odd quid on Amazon.
What it? Bloody hell!
Yeah.
Good do is that. We'll have a private chat coming in, so I'm just going to see what Gary fixtures are released. Yes, 15th of June.
That's what my things are saying. Yeah, and Premier League.
Not for EFL. I'll tell you because it's on the Leeds United website.
That's the Premier League fixtures.
Yeah, Premier League. Yeah. I saw something on Leeds United website earlier today, and it said something about key dates. It's EFL key dates, and I'm sure I've seen it. 22nd of June. 22nd of June is the fixture release date.
Good.
So 9 a.m. apparently. I mean, Norwich is a fit. I mean, I won't be home for that, but I mean, season starts when I've flown out of Britain because it starts on 4th of August. That's the Friday night game, and then the rest of the fixtures are the 5th, Saturday the 5th, and it says quote unquote with a likely live game on the 4th of August. So you would think that they're probably going to pick us, Leicester, or possibly Southampton for that live game on a Friday, aren't they? It's going to be one of the relegated sides, I think, who are going to be appearing on that one. Man Josh say, oh, hang on. 49ers Enterprises reportedly committed to buy Leeds and evaluation 213, although it sounds like a lot. Yeah, we're not talking too much about that. Should we give the under 23s a chance? I think Cameron and anybody else who's watching, we've got a lot of talent in our development squads and in our younger teams that these players will hopefully be promoted by Farke if he comes in and takes over. I think I'd like to see that. Jarby, McGurk. I've seen quite a bit of that McGurk, and always seems to have a good. He sort of reminds me a bit of a Calvin Phillips actually with his passing and stuff like that. So we've got
Joseph as
that
well.
other guy as well, huh?
Joseph.
Joseph, yeah, he was the next one. Just going to roll off the ton.
And there's Sonny Perkins.
Sonny Perkins as well, and he's appeared for us a couple of times. Has he appeared for us? I think Perkins.
He scored against Cardiff.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, scores against Cardiff, and then nobody is out from him. Weird. Was that the Jesse Marsh?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Pucky left this season. Contract expired. Bendia record amount sold. Cantwell, midway this season. No clue what happened to him. I think the fans are curious as to what happens now. Oh, one of two. Here we go. As he said during many interviews, Webber, that he's going to look through for the next season, and now this announcement is released. I mean, we've been frustrated at Leeds. We're so frustrated with what's been going on. And now we're kind of in the dark. The only thing we have is the occasional, and it is very occasional, bit of fluff coming from various journalists. Quite often, there's only one or two now that you can safely sort of. There's that Graham Smythe. Is it Smythe or Smith? And then Phil A. That anything else. You as a Leeds fan, you just ignore it because you literally know it's just somebody in the national press who's got no knowledge of what's going on or no insider, and they're just making fluff up as they go along. I reckon you will finish mid-table until Norwich is put under proper management. Well, man, Josh, I was having a little look at this today, and if that comes, assuming that he has a win rate of a 41%, we'll end up finishing between 14th and 17th. But when you take those Premier League numbers out of the equation, it will end up probably top four.
Yeah,
probably top four in terms of points. So I think there's a lot to be positive about, and it's not the Norwich squad that is inheriting, is it? I mean that we have got some good players there, but we've got a lot of deadwood that it literally needs clearing out, and sort of bringing them in, and then trying to get these new players to gel. These players that Marsh brought in. I mean, these players that Marsh brought in, some of them haven't appeared. Some of them haven't lived up to their expectation. I mean, that's putting it politely, isn't it? I think that you've got to try and be polite, haven't you, Stu?
Yeah.
And
the only one who's a success story is Tyler Adams.
Tyler Adams, yeah, and there's a bit of gossip swirling about Tyler Adams this week. I think, isn't there, that he they're going to try and retain him. But what did you make of that retention list that came out?
Well,
It was just
weird about with Robles and Forshaw.
Forshaw.
Their contracts have expired, but they're allowed to turn up for training and try to impress the new manager for a new contract. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Karen, getting back to you as well, Mr. So Campbell's have put Rangers playing football.
Cantwell is. There you go. You see. I think the Forshaw thing. It's a case of Leeds don't want to take the liability. Is it? There's nobody there at the minute. When you look at it from a point of view, there's nobody there to make a professional judgment about Forshaw's suitability. Same with Robles. And the other two lads who are, I can't think I've heard of them. But it looks to me, Stu, like the fan. Someone's sat in a dark room in Elland Road somewhere. The fans need to know something. We need to pump something out. What shall we do? Right, let's pick a few names. Right, okay, definitely, yeah, we could tell them about him. Add a couple of others on. Press the print button here. Send that out to the press and give them something to talk about. While we get on with the real business of trying to sort out these other big name players that we have. And I think it's just a bit of an appeasement effort. Is that to try and keep the fans from because you know what they're like. I mean, some of them will be like, some of them will be going into the ground up at Thorpe Arch, trying to get some insider knowledge or photographs and all the rest of it. So I think that's what that is about. But it makes sense when you think about it from a business point of view, because if Leeds have put those four guys on a contract without the manager's say so or the manager's agreement, the incoming manager, he's then got 4 fewer spaces in his squad to put his own players in. It's not normal, is it? But like anything else at Leeds United, nothing's been normal for the last 6 months.
No,
Has it? You know what I mean? It beggars belief, and we're all sat there. I mean, I'm bald. You're grey.
Yep,
I'm getting grayer. Balder, and you're getting greyer. I'm balding, and I'm receding, and you're getting greyer, mate.
I'm just getting greyer, mate. Yeah.
And I have noticed in the last few days, like, you know what? I've got a few greys popping up here. My poor old brother, he's going grey. I mean, he's younger than me. He's going greyer than me. Promoted. Man, Josh thinks we'll get promoted. I think in Leeds' history, we've only ever won a playoff once. Every other time we've been promoted, we've gone up as champions.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, we saw it under Bielsa, didn't we? When we got into playoffs, I was just like, why are we even bothering with playoffs?
Yeah.
Just don't turn up. And it turned out, sure enough, we didn't do very well in the playoffs. But then the following season, we went up as champions. So that's the way you want to do it. And you save yourself, is it 3 games, isn't it?
Well,
save yourself 2 playoffs to the final. So you really want to be going up as champions. Try and do it in the most economical way possible. I reckon we'll do quite well. The fans will be pumped and hoping for some promotion, yeah. Cacophony of noise and the away support will be just as loud. Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. But thank you so much to Cameron for doing this. Due to this, the players will hopefully play well. It will be Premier League bound once again. I think so. I think there's enough there. If we retain the key ones. What about Jack Harrison? Is he staying or going or what? I mean, I think Jack Harrison, in the back of his mind, he's got MLS in his mind. I think Jack Harrison.
You see, the problem with Jack Harrison, I don't get this. I don't understand it, Gary. January the 31st.
He signs a new contract.
He sat on Leicester's bench, ready, outside his office waiting to sign paperwork. Then we've called him back saying, no, we want to keep you. And now all of a sudden it's talk like he's going to be leaving within what, 7 months, 8 months, 8 months.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's alleged that he was talking to Rodgers at the training ground. In fact, I think he pretty much came out and said that, didn't he? That what happened was
everything. He had his medical and everything done.
Yeah, it was virtually over the line, and then I think, but the rumor swirled, Stu, that it wasn't anything to do with Radrazani. It was the 49ers that put the brakes on that transfer and said, no, we don't want Jack Harrison to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, this Farag guy, I mean, if you look on Twitter and stuff like that, a couple of these American guys keep turning up, these basketball players and all this sort of thing. One of them says that openly says he's invested into the 49ers on a personal level, and he's not letting anything out the bag. He's not letting anything out of the bag. I don't know if you've seen it. Larry Nance, is it? Nance? Let me have a look. I'll see if I can find it. Nance, something like that. I mean, I find it hilarious, but what's going on? It's like every morning you wake up in it. What's going on at Elland Road today? Oh, and by the way, congratulations to Klitsch.
Klitsch.
Klitsch's birthday today.
Happy birthday, retired Klitsch. He was another player that we shouldn't have got rid of when we got rid of him.
Well, that was Marsh who got rid of him, wasn't it?
Yeah. Weird.
It was but you see, Marsh, in his last few games as manager, it was always the same thing, wasn't it? 60th minute, put Klitsch on. Didn't matter anything about the game. You sat there thinking, what the hell is he doing? I like Klitsch. I always rated him as a player. Bit of a Leeds legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Finally got to the physio after 4 weeks of being injured. Who's this? Mike Gore. Who the hell's that? Only to be seen by an ex-Leeds United physio that was there during the Bielsa days. Needless to say, she was loved by Bielsa, and how he was. Another 5 weeks till I could play again. I don't know who that is, but anyway, that's an interesting story. Happy, but yeah, Klitsch's birthday today, apparently. So get yourself on Twitter and go. I wished him a happy birthday. Klitsch, Leeds United owe him 5 games. So he's going to have to get back to Elland Road and get his 5 games in, I think. Try and get him on loan. What do you think, Stu?
Yeah.
Would you take...
if Leeds put the call in, I don't think he wanted to leave Leeds. I really don't. I think
he didn't. No, he didn't want to leave Leeds. He was fuming that he left because he was on 195 appearances, and he came out and he said something like along the lines of "You Leeds United owe me 5 and I'll be back." I mean, if Farke listens to this podcast or this stream, get Klitschy back. We need a bit of steel.
No, second that.
If Rogers was no, I'm just having a little flick through Twitter here just to see what there is going on here. And did you know Pablo Hernandez? Does he own a football club? I
I
think he
don't know if
does.
he
You know.
owns. I heard that he's a partner in one, and he's got
Yeah,
shares
he
in.
is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Him and Norwich City can confirm sporting director is to leave the club. Webber informed the club's joint majority shareholder of his decision at the turn of the year. This is that's the official Twitter account of Norwich City, Stu. That Webber told um, Delia Smith and Michael Wynne Jones that at the beginning of the year he was going to resign. I mean, I can't believe that for a second. Can you?
No, no,
No,
no.
I think there's something more to this than meets the eye. I think he's had his ear bent that you're going to be. We want you down at Leeds. We're trying to sell the club. It's going to be about June when everything's finalised. No, it can't. That surely can't have been the case.
It's been
And
there
it
6 years.
just Yeah, it just so happens that he just walks out. That they make this announcement. Oh yeah, he told us at the beginning of the year. My lasagna's in the oven and it's burning, but he did tell us at the beginning of the year. Graham
No,
Potter is down at 3-1 to become the next Leeds manager, apparently,
you see,
and this is
this is the problem.
This is 3 hours ago.
This
Go
is the
on.
problem because the 49ers don't leak any information out. Everyone's just speculating on, you know what I mean? Until you see, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound contradictory, but until we hear from the club, there's no guarantees of anything. But the problem is with the 49ers, they don't like to discuss anything anyway.
No, they don't. It's all under wraps, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
this live stream, it could all be. I think I did a live stream the other week. Oh yeah, it was about Radrazani, and just before the day before the takeover, and I was just expressing a few opinions about this and that, and I think it was you, wasn't it? I think you came in. Oh, I'll watch that, and I was like, don't bother because it's all irrelevant now anyway. Like, what a waste of time that was. Melier officially. This is Fabrizio Romano. Officially, I still belong to LUFC. I think I have to think about what could be the best project. The best project. It says Chelsea. If it is to go to Chelsea and sit on the bench, I'm not interested. If it is to be the number one, of course, you can say I'm not interested in Chelsea. What the hell does that mean? I don't know if there's something lost in translation there,
I think so.
Stu, but that's Fabrizio Romano. Somebody called Lucas Corbett replies, "F off then, you lanky prick."
Very nice.
They're so nice, aren't the Leeds fans? Yeah, a little bit about Phil 8. Klitschy, yeah, back on it, square ball. And of course, Somerville.
Yeah,
What
but
do you
at
think
least
to
having
that?
talks with Feyenoord, didn't he?
Well, PSV apparently. I mean, is a Feyenoord in the mix as well? The last I heard was PSV.
Where'd they
10
be buying
million.
from?
Oh,
Would it be Feyenoord?
might have been Feyenoord, yeah.
Yeah, well, apparently it's been. I mean, this is again rumours, but apparently he's had meetings to go back.
Yeah. So he's going back to. Is he? I mean, did we buy him or is he on loan?
I think he's our player, isn't he?
I thought we bought him, but I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm gonna have. Eh?
I think we bought him. But we bought him for next to no.
Yeah, we got him at a basement bargain, didn't we? Crescencio Somerville. I can't spell his name. Not with one hand. Crescencio Somerville, right? And it says, he's got Feyenoord. Yeah, it was Feyenoord, but he made no appearances for him in 2000 between 2018 2020. And then 2020 signed for us, according to this. So, but before that, he was on a bit of a loan with Den Haag and Dordrecht, and that was another loan. So he got loaned out by Feyenoord twice. And then it says Leeds bought him. Stu, the reason why we don't know is because it was undisclosed. It was not disclosed at the time how much we paid for him. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I don't think 10 million is going to cut it at all. He's worth way more than that, I think. Quality player. 28 appearances for us last season, 4 goals. National Cup 2, got 2 appearances, 0 goals. League Cup 1, and then appearances 31 and 4 goals in total. In his career, he scored 11 times. But he's not done anything in the previous 2 seasons for us. But then that season that we've just had, that was, I think, his breakthrough season. 78 career appearances and 11 goals. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, for Cree? I hope that. Hello, TD5, is it?
Yeah, TD5.
Yeah. Oh, hello, TD5. Nice of you to join. Thank you so much. I'm gonna flash your comment up in a minute. Happy birthday to Klitsch. Klitsch is scoring. Yeah, he's doing well. He's Klitsch in America. I'll tell you, we should never have let him go. Marsh just did whatever he could to ruin his career, I think, at Leeds, and persuade Orta that, get these 3 guys. Hey, get these 3 guys. I know these 3 great guys. They're real great guys.
Yeah. Well, one of them what?
One of them is. Yeah, the other one is. I mean, I think Aronson could be good, but I think he's just not physically. I think in his game, if he stops going down so bloody easily, he'll be all right. And if he gets a bit of, gets in gym and starts pumping some iron, eating some fish and chips, he'll be all right. But going back to Farke, he'll either have a quick start with yous or he'll need a season to get his. Yeah, I think so. And this is what we're all worried about, innit? We don't want this bedding in season and all this nonsense. I think if we get him, I don't know about you, Stu, but we've got to hit the ground running and think, right, we're going to have to try and dominate this league. And, every game is a must-win game. And I think that's it. There are, and I did the calculation on this earlier. I was quite impressed with myself. Oh, God, I've loaded up the wrong app. Just a minute. But you've got 46 games.
Yep.
That's 138 point total if you win them all. I mean,
right.
has anybody finished with 138 points in that division?
No. 101. Burnley did it, didn't they? They brought the
Burnley did 101, didn't they? I mean, Burnley had a fantastic season, but Company is the man, isn't he? He's the man of the moment in that division this season. So yes, hello. What's going on, Bandy?
Hiya, Bandy.
Let me just finish this one off. Going back to Farke, He'll need a season to get his tactics and his identity into the whole system. I don't think
Well,
the system for us is going to be too much of a problem.
I
I
don't think the
think
fans will give him a season to get his tactics right. The fans
no.
won't have it.
Leeds United fans are like, it's like having 38,000 Instagram people in the ground at Elland Road at the minute. They want success and they want it yesterday.
Mm.
They wanted it yesterday, and they don't. You know, I think we keep Grath here. We probably have a better chance of staying up. But all this dilly dally, we get Big Sam in. On average, Grathia was going to keep us up at 1 point a game with 11 games. But you know, his choices just made people angry, didn't they? You know, what he would do with Nonto, and I mean, he's probably destroyed Nonto's confidence in that season. Will we keep Willie Nonto?
Well, according to his agent, he's happy at Leeds, and he don't see another contract being a problem.
No, I think
Well,
I think we can retain a lot of our best players, you know, and I think a lot of them are, I think a lot of them are sat there. They probably mulled it over a bit and thought, you know what, I've got a point to prove.
yeah, I agree.
I've got a point to prove, and I'm going to have to swallow the pay cut because I don't want to go to a new team. You're going to have to bed in, and if it don't work out, you know, I'm knackered. At least I feel a bit more comfortable at Leeds, and even with all this turmoil that's been going on, that you know we can certainly do something in this championship season. We've still got a good infrastructure, got a decent training ground, you know, decent facilities. We've got the promise of not the promise, but you know the optimism now is we've got the new owners and they're gonna sort this club out and try and put something in place that's more permanent, more stable. And leaving Leeds United at this moment is probably not a good idea for my career because the future could be very bright here at Elland Road. So, you know, I hope a few of them have sat there and had a word with themselves and thought, you know what, it might be 50% pay cut, but it's not going to be too much of a problem, you know. But you never know. So, if Real Madrid come in with big money for someone like Rodrigo, do you take it? I think I probably would.
Yeah, and I'm not being funny, but when Real Madrid come calling, it's hard to say no.
You don't say no, do you? Nah. It's like Rafinha, isn't it? I mean, Rafinha's boyhood club is Barcelona. They come calling. They put a ton of money on they put a good. I mean, did we even get paid out of that? Because they were on the verge of going. They're still on the verge of going bankrupt by the sound of it. And it's a desperate times for Barcelona. But I mean, if they go bankrupt, or if anybody at Barcelona is listening, you know, and you want to offload Rafinha, you make him nice and cheap for us. We'll have him back at Elland Road. Thanks very much. There's always a place for Rafinha in our team. Yes. Yes, thank you very much, TD5. I'll pop by and have a look at your channel when I get a moment. And
is a young lad. He's 15-year-old.
All right.
Josh.
All right. Yeah, he's a bit older than Manjosh. Manjosh is very, very young. Yes, I think he's 11. He's Manjosh.
Yeah, he knows his stuff as well, does Thomas. He knows.
Does he? Right. Yeah. Oh well, I like it when people know the stuff and they go at comments. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Farke would be good. Bandy. So yes, Bandy. Just to catch up there, sir, because I skipped past you. We're talking about anything to do with Leeds. With the speculation that's going around today that Farke and this other fella is on his way.
Stuart Webber.
Stuart Webber they're on the way to Leeds. It's the reports are emerging from Elland Road that it's looking like a done deal, and this might have been going on for a lot longer than we think. Perhaps even as far as back as January. According to Delia Smith on Norwich Football Club, they were notified in January that he was going to resign at this point of the year. So, it makes me wonder who knows what and how long has this been in the works. And I'm now suspecting that Radrazan is done. It hasn't cared about Leeds United for months on end. But this Sampdoria business has, it's made him jump to try and escape from Leeds. And, good luck to him. That's it. That's all I can say. You got to be polite. Good luck to him. That's it. So, thank you so much, TD5. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at your channel later on. And we'll have a... Farke would be good. Got Norwich promoted twice before, yeah. He had a season of mediocrity, I think, by the sound of it. And then the following season got them up there as champions. And, Norwich is one of those places. I mean, it's a lovely place to go, is Norwich. I've never been, but they say it is lovely down there. It's really, really nice. East Anglia and all that. Is it East Anglia or is it Norfolk? It's Norfolk, isn't it? Is it? I better not get this wrong because Norwich fans will lynch me. My geography must be going out of the window. East Anglia is like the region, isn't it? Then Norfolk, and then is it? Who's the local rival there? Is it Ipswich?
I think
Hey
so.
there, Stu. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I mean, I'm just checking for you now.
Yeah. Burnley didn't break the points record.
You're right. Spot on.
Say again.
It's East Anglia.
East Anglia, isn't it? Yeah. What county is it? What county is that then? Is it Norfolk? Is it Norwich, Norfolk? I always remember Norwich, Norfolk, Ipswich, Suffolk. I might be wrong. I might be. Anyway, I'll just read these out, Stu, while Stu the researcher. I've got a researcher. Burnley didn't break the points record. Reading got 106 in 2005-2006. Wow, that is some points tally, is that, isn't it? To be 106 out of 138. Gracia was never keeping us up. Well, law of averages says he was, but in the end, he probably wasn't. I mean, I don't know. That Crystal Palace game, it seemed to be all going all right for him, and then that Crystal Palace game came along, didn't it? And it just, it just torpedoed the season, I think. YOY. Hang on. YOY are the same names being bandied about when the world is such a big place. Stu, any ideas about that?
Yeah, because the 49ers aren't telling anybody anything, and the journalists are just scratching around to find any story they can cling on to, and what's the word? Regurgitate it. Keep repeating it over and over and over again, because there's nothing else to be said. There's nothing else coming out from club, so they're going to try to use the same story 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah, they'll just frame it up in different methods, different ways, and rewrite it, and all this other stuff. I also think, Bandy, that it's like this for us as a club that's got relegated. We're not at a club that's been mismanaged with a lot of shady goings on between Radrazani, Orta, and anybody else. That it's not a very appealing place for a top manager. or it hasn't been a very appealing place for a top manager to go to and say, right, uh, I can go in there and do a job, because of the instability. And I think the instability puts people off, doesn't it? If I'm looking at um, a job and I see two employers, I they think that they're interviewing me, but actually, what's going on, Bandy, with me is I'm interviewing them, because I want to know that if I'm going to invest my time, it's going to be worth it. And it's going to be a stable, productive time, and I'm going to get rewarded and paid. Now, a bit of background for you. At the moment, I've got an issue with the current employer, right? They haven't paid a bonus to me on time, right? It's quite a big bonus. So I'm not happy about that right now, and I'll be telling them, you know, uh, they also paid a day late on 1 month this year. So things like that, as a teacher, really grind my gears. It's not like they ain't got the money, right? So it's the same thing for a manager. That the higher ups, if they're not running that club or that business well, in a way that's fair, and in a way that's transparent, and in a way that everybody's involved in the decision making process. Whatever it is, it's the HR, it's the training campus, it's the stadium, it's what we're going to do with the squad, the players, etc. I don't know if you were with us last time, but there is a rumour going around. Stu said that Bamford, he wants to leave the club because he's not happy with the way it's being run. So it makes me think that, he's on. I mean, that guy allegedly is on 70,000+ a week. So, I mean, everybody'd say, well, it doesn't really matter how it's being run. It's none of your business, and you're getting paid, and you should shut your mouth and get on with it and play football. And that's one side of the argument. It's a bit like with me. People will say to me, well, you get paid anyway. You should shut your mouth, get on with your teaching, and that's it. I say, oh, whoa, hang on a minute.
Principle.
If these buggers aren't paying me on time, I've got bills to pay. Yeah. Right, I've got food to put on the table and all the rest of it, like everybody else has bills and stuff. I said, there's no reason that the reason that they came up with, oh, it's a bank holiday. I said, yeah, but the previous, God knows how many bank holidays we have here, you paid me on time. So what's going on? So I'm thinking, are they running out of money, or are they just playing silly buggers? But if I don't get any answers out of them, and it's same with Bamford, isn't it? If he ain't getting any answers, or he's not happy with it, he's going to be unsettled. So I mean, there must be some other stuff that's going on there. And we've all talked about toxicity in the workplace and all this sort of thing. Don't matter how much you're getting paid. I'm afraid I don't think it does. If you're not comfortable with the employer, the people around you, the people that help you do your job, you're going to be more likely to want to leave, however much you're getting paid. And you'd probably be thinking, you know what? I've actually in the past taken a pay cut because I worked in a toxic environment. Do you see what I mean? So it's not about employment or working somewhere. And I explain this to my students, it's not always about the money. It's about job satisfaction. If you're not satisfied with your job, and there's stuff going on that's out of your control that you're unhappy about, and you speak out about it, try and address those things, and nothing changes, then it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think you've got to look at it objectively and say Patrick Bamford is really no different to anybody else.
Mm.
And I think this is why Leeds are struggling with with a top tier manager that we can get in, and people are literally going in and I'm just going to walk away from it. But the 49ers are in charge now. Their whole outlook and their whole process. They should have a process, and things should be documented, done properly, and all of that needs to be, overhauled. I think at the moment, and has the club actually done that? These are all questions that I'd love to ask. I'd love to just go down to Elland Road and say, right, tell us about your HR process. How are you doing it? And like audit them. You know what I mean? What was the reason Brendan Rodgers, you couldn't get Brendan Rodgers to sign on the dotted line?
Yeah.
Did he give you a reason? But you see, employers never do give reasons. I've done job interviews in the past. Why didn't you employ me? And they never tell you. We just found a more suitable candidate. Whatever. So that's how it is. HR and stuff like that. It's a minefield, mate. I'll tell you, absolute minefield. Let's interview John. Sure, Bandy. But yeah, I mean, say again.
It's the Canada coach.
The Canada coach?
Yes.
No. Is he any good, though? What's his record?
He looks like Jesse Marsh to me.
Oh, God, no. Bandy, no. Tell us, Bandy, what makes you think that this guy's going to be... I've never even heard of him. How did you know? Have you just Googled that, Stu?
That one I did, yeah.
Yeah. You must have done, because I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he says that what did he say? I don't know, what's one of his terms saying? So he said someone could, is it Canada? He reckons that Canada can win World Cup this time around, or America can win World Cup this time around.
Is an English professional football manager who is the head coach of Canada men's national team. Is he smoking pot or what? Is he? No, nah. Hang on. New Zealand women's team, Canada women's team for 7 years, and then 2018 onward, he's the Canada men's team manager. Bandy, where are you getting these candidates? He's got no qualification, Bandy. He can't possibly manage. Can't manage Elland Road. I mean, come on. Nobody takes America, United States, and nobody takes Canada as serious footballing teams, do they? But all that. But I think I might be right in saying America. The United States of America are they ranked 13th in the world?
They've climbed up table, haven't they?
And where are England these days? I mean, we must be somewhere top 10.
Yeah, that's
third.
World Cup.
Never.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you now. We're about 5th or something. Let's have a look. World Cup, FIFA World Rankings, isn't it? That's what I want.
Yeah.
FIFA World Rankings. Were I up? I know where I up.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. FIFA World Rankings. There we go. Right. So. We
destroyed the Dutch and they were very unlucky. I didn't see the game, Bandy. Unfortunately for World Cup, I literally just watched a couple of England games, and that was, my time was, because of the time differences, it meant that, well, I mean, I've got a little boy as well. I just don't have the time. I wish I had the time to watch more football, but this year, it just hasn't been. So, I mean, Bandy's got But Bandy, I mean, managing Canada for. I think I said the same. Somebody mentioned the other day, why don't we get. What about Gareth Southgate?
Oh
I was
God,
like, Gareth. I was like, the trouble is with like international managers, they've been used to what, attending 10 games in a year.
yeah,
This is the championship is 46 games. There ain't no way they're gonna these national team managers are gonna be happy about coaching in the championship. I mean, that's hard work. It's much harder work managing a championship team than a national team. I
yeah,
think. What I mean, look at England. 2 games in June. In April, we played 7 games in the Premier League. No
well,
chance. And then after that, they might not do anything for 2 to 3 months. They might not see the plays for 2 to 3 months. It must be a walk in the park being a national team manager compared to being a proper club manager like Leeds. But anyway, I don't know. It's a good shout though, Bandy. I mean, if you think that's a good shout, it's a good shout. It's just one game, isn't it? Canada, they're all hyped, they're all pumped. Big game for them against Netherlands, and on the day anything can happen in a game of football, right? So yeah, there we go. Good. Any final thoughts for you, Stu? Have you got any more closing remarks about Farke and Webber?
I think that I think the two words to all Leeds fans out there is be patient.
Yeah.
I think until this fit to my thing goes through FA and stuff, and until 49ers are actually in house making decisions, I think I think you will find there's going to be a lot of rumours and a lot of nonsense. Shall I say? But do you think the 49ers, Gary, should not make a marquee signing as a statement?
Um. Sorry, could you just repeat the question?
Right. Do you think the 49ers would make a marquee signing to make a statement?
Um. Will they, or
Yeah.
should they?
Well, should I think you make the right signings in positions you need. You go out and buy another
Well,
striker or something.
it's interesting that you say that because at the minute we've got no players linked inbound, have we?
No.
I've not seen anything that says, right, well, we're going to sign. Uh, I mean, like Liverpool. Look how quickly they got that McAllister deal through the door. I mean, that got over the line so quickly. I mean, there must have been a bit of work going on in the background in the final weeks of the Premier League season. No sooner as the final whistle blown on the final game, they're literally announcing him, and it sounds like Rice has gone to Arsenal. Is that correct?
It's
Has it
it's on the verge of it being completed for
been complete?
90 million pound, £90 million lump sum, and then with all add-ons and stuff, it's going to take it above 100 million.
Well, it's all right when you've got the oil money from the Middle East. Um,
Mm.
I think I think like I'll just echo your sentiments. We have to be patient and see what whoever the new manager wants. Get his list of his shopping list, and then assess those names and see what he wants to do. Because you have to think about tactics, you have to think about number of games. Is it worth our while going out and blowing 50 million on Calvin Phillips and bringing him back at Elland Road? I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
But I mean, if Man City say, "Look, we'll pay you 20 million just to get him off our books because we want
Mm.
the space in our squad," You've already had 45. You've already rinsed us for 45 million.
For about 3 games.
Uh, so we'll just, then you'd probably think, well, we'll take it. It's not a marquee. That's not a marquee signing, though, is it?
No.
A marquee signing is going out and signing a 25, 30 goal a season striker. That kind of striker, you're going to be looking at. Who else can do that kind of thing? Harry Kane, Erling Haaland. You've got a couple of candidates there, haven't you? But who are these people that we're going to get? Who's going to be good enough? And I think the key thing is that we have to be patient. I think that Rutter signing, I don't know. I still think there's something not right about that. There's got to be more to the story about how he's ended up at Leeds with the valuations that have been given and the money that's supposedly been paid. It just doesn't. It still doesn't make any sense to me at all. So I think be patient. Let's see what the manager, if it is Farke, let's see what he comes up with. I mean, there's going to be negotiations going in, and all of this stuff. I imagine that this is part of the recruitment process. That look, we want you as the manager. Do you have a shopping list for us? Who should we be approaching? And the countdown is on. Make no mistake, the pressure is on, and we have to get something sorted out pretty quickly, because if nothing happens, we're losing days very quickly at the minute, I think, Stu.
Yeah, good players. Like you said, McAllister's been snapped up by Liverpool. Yeah,
Sorry, mate. Say again.
McAllister's been snapped up by Liverpool. Tillemans has been snapped up by Aston Villa. The best
Yeah.
player getting snapped up, and Tillemans went on a free.
I mean, why? You sat there thinking, right, he's gone on a free.
Yeah.
But if he's on a free, you've got to be thinking, well, we could get that guy. He were impressive against us, even without a manager. Just go out and get him signed up. And he's gone where, Tillmans? Villa.
Aston Villa, yeah.
And that's good business for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really good business. But I mean, at the minute, there's no names there. Anyway, Stu, look, 52 days till the 4th of August, and I think we did a live stream at 68 days, 66 days, something like that. 52 days left. We've got to get. They've really got to get cracking, and let's start seeing some action down at Elland Road, because it's all this dithering about is just not. I mean, I know we've got to take our time and do things properly, but like you say, the best players, the ones who are going to do the business for us in the Championship, these kind of Tielemans, he'd have been ideal for us. I think he'd have been a good signing, but now he's done to Villa. I mean, unless Villa want to sell him on, I don't know. Weird. The Football Canada play was Bielsa likes. Quite stunning. I didn't see the Canada games, Bandy, so I'm going to have to rely on your word. Did you see any Canada games, Stu? No. No, I didn't. No, didn't see them. I think I heard a bit about them, though. But, I mean, that's going back 8 months. It's a long time, isn't it? Crazy. Right, well, I'm Gary. I'm going to end this stream. Any final thoughts, Stu?
No, mate. We've covered everything, I think.
I think we've covered everything, yeah. I think what we'll do is we'll try and catch up next week then. I'll be in the UK by then. Hooray! Fish and chips all the way. Can't wait.
Fish and chips.
Uh, uh, People ask me what are the things I miss about home. I say, well, I like to go for a drink, game of pool, fish and chips, sandwich, the food. People don't realise that there are a few things about Britain that people don't realise just how good it is. And I always think, the food is way better than people give credit for. So there we go. But
And it helps
we
much
could.
than in Indonesia.
It's
Different.
it's different, right? It depends on what you like. In the area that I'm in, no, but in other parts of Jakarta, fantastic. But you see, these places are so far away. They're so far from where I live, and we say sort of 4 or 5 miles in the UK. That's not far. In Jakarta, that's far because the traffic here is absolutely horrific. It can be really, really bad. You could spend 2 hours sitting in a car. You've barely travelled a mile. It can be that bad. So the traffic's not up to much, and the transportation getting around is horrific. I have a motorbike for that specific reason, but you see, I don't want to go around on the motorbike. I could go drink 10 pints and hope that I drive back and I still make it back. But there won't be any problem with the police or anything like that. I'll just pay them off with a quick bung, and everything will be okay. It's not like Britain, So from that side of it, it's a bit of a laugh. But it's a crazy place out here. It's fun, I'll say that it's fun. It's fun, but I do miss my home comforts, and I do miss the food back at home. And I look forward to having a Sunday roast. A Sunday roast and a decent pie. I think I'll be happy then.
But he can't, Toby can't hear you come.
Well, I like Toby Carver. There's one down in Keighley, and it's all right. It's all right. But my mum, bless her. She can cook. That woman can cook. You just you just don't realise how good. You never realise what you've got until you don't have it, or until you've lost it. You know what I mean? And I think I can't wait. I've got your roast gammon joint in oven. We're having some gammon sandwiches. I'll just be like, oh, gammon sandwiches, yes. And the wife's Indonesian, and her favourite is, she loves going to Greg's. Does the wife? I should be getting paid for this. And when we go over at Christmas, she's like, oh, have they got the what do they have? The Christmas pasty, the Christmas pie. Turkey bake or something it's called, whatever it is. And so we have to go get one of those. But then my mum, she'll make some sausage rolls, home cooked sausage rolls. And the wife she just loves it. She just loves it. Every time my mum makes anything, my mum can make all sorts of stuff. And I said to her, these skills are very easy. These things are easy to make, Just ask my mum. Then you can make them for me. Oh, dear. All a bit of fun. Right, I'm going to end it then, Stu. And now, Christ, what time is it? Oh God, it's nearly 1 a.m. Back to school. Back to school in 5 hours. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining Stu and I. If you caught up on the replay, take care of yourselves. I'm going to leave a little video up here for you to watch. Have a lovely day ahead, and let's hope that Leeds United really pull the finger out and get us start clicking through the gears and sorting us out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bandy. Take care. Good night. Stu?
Good night,
Good night from
everybody.
Stu. Good night. Cheerio.